Yogesh, it's a big day today for the country. And of course, we are looking and all the fingers are crossed for a successful soft landing on the lunar South Pole. What are your feelings, first of all, as an astronomer, as a person who has keen interest in the space science, especially vis-a-vis India? What are you looking at today?
Okay, ma'am. So first of all, it's actually difficult right now to express my feelings, right? It's like a kind of mixed feelings, right? I should feel pride or proud of all the ISRO scientists, whatever they have done, and we should take pride that we are just about to land few hours away, and at any moment we'll do the soft landing, and we are going to be the first country to do so. But on the other side, seeing from the scientific community, there are the challenges that we always talk about, right? That is still left. That is the main phase that we say that is still left. The main leg is still left. So the feelings are kind of mixed. Overall, I'm filled with joy, right? And yes, because it's a happy moment for being an Indian. It's a happy moment for us. We don't know maybe when next landing, on which planet, which moon we are going to see.
Yes.
But today we are going to see history being made.
Yogesh, help me understand one thing. Obviously, when we are looking at Chandrayaan 3, we are also talking it in perspective of Chandrayaan 2. And the headlines actually scream how it failed. But for a scientific mission, no failure is a failure. It is just a step, a learning experience, and you better from that. And that's what our scientists, our Indian senior scientists have been doing for these 4 years, ever since that failed attempt in 2019. But that Chandrayaan 2 orbiter is still going to be used today. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. So let's start with Chandrayaan 2, right? It's people say that it's a failure, but we will rather say it was a partial success and a very good lesson for all of us that what exactly is going to be the wrong way, that way that we should not attempt.
Yes.
Right. So we have got that one way. Second thing, the learnings from Chandrayaan 2 and the data that we are going to get from the orbiter of Chandrayaan 2. So initially when it was planned, that orbiter, it will work for 1 year. But later on, when ISRO examined the health of the orbiter, and they understood one thing, that it can work for approximately 7 years. Now today, coming back to today, in case of Chandrayaan 3, the orbiter of Chandrayaan 2 is actually the link, the backup link, or you can say the backup communication channel for us, because directly communicating with the lander, see, we have set up ISDN network. Okay, now if in case of any fail, let's say lander is not able to communicate directly to the IDSN, then it is going to communicate to the orbiter, and orbiter is going to send us the all the signals to us. Apart from this, when we talk about like Chandrayaan 3 and 2, so a lot of modifications have been made in Chandrayaan 3 so that we can ensure, and that is all dependent on what mistakes we have done in Chandrayaan 2. I won't say mistakes, or I would rather say we have experimented and then we have got the result. Now we are on the new experiment.
That, yes. Absolutely. Now, they call it 15 minutes of terror. From 5:20, I believe, 5:45 around that time to 6:04. It is going to be really, really fascinating and yet really, really heart-wrenching on what exactly is going to happen. Why is that a 15 minutes of terror, first of all? And the other thing, if we again, in comparison to Chandrayaan 2, I was given to understand that the thrusters did not really control the velocity of Chandrayaan 2 as was needed for that soft landing, and hence it crashed on the surface of the moon. How are the scientists this time bettering that?
Okay. So let's start with the first thing, that like what exactly we have changed and what exactly is this 15 minutes of terror. So this term was coined by K. Sivansar, that last 15 minutes, that's the most crucial part. When you shift all your human brain to the lander, right? Now your lander becomes, the Vikram lander is going to be an autonomous body. All the decisions, it has to be taken care by the lander itself. It has to detect, okay, what is my velocity right now, what is my orientation with respect to the moon, okay, how much fuel is left, how much thrusters, for how much time, and at what angle exactly I need to fire them. That's what make the last portion as the most complex operation. Now currently the orbiter is traveling at a speed of more than 1.6 kilometers per second. Now you can imagine how fast is that, and we need to bring it down to 0.2, or you can say the 2 meter per second, right? So it's like we need to do with that huge shift. Now all that huge shift needs to be taken care of automatically. So all the sensors should work properly, all the thrusters should be turned on at the right time, that too in the right angle, and only the right amount of thrust should be given. If the thrust is little more or little less, then also it's a problem, right? Though there is, you can say, ISRO has taken more, you can say, buffer this time. right? In fact, let's say the velocity that has to be 2 meter per second, that was restricted for Chandrayaan 2. In case of
Correct.
Chandrayaan 3, let's say it is still 3 meters.
Yes.
Then also it can land.
Yes.
The best part is, let's say if the lander has to land straight, okay, that the angle with the perpendicular needs to be 0.
Yes.
If the angle is little bit deviated, so up to 12% deviation we can manage, that can be managed by the lander. So all these corrective measures, lots of other measures have been taken care in Chandrayaan 3.
Yogesh, I'd request you to stay on with us because I'd also want to understand that the surface area of the landing has also this time been marked, and it's an increased marking that has been done by our scientists. Why is that? We'll throw a light on that. But first, what you have just put out for our viewers, the 15 minutes of terror, breaking down those very points as Yogesh has just mentioned. These are the 15 minutes of terror. Why are they called so? This is the last 15 minutes. They will determine the success of this mission. Why do we say that? Now, firstly, it is because the lander begins the descent towards the moon. That is the last 15 minutes where the velocity, the thrusters really need to go ahead and hold that velocity. This is the entire lander that's moving towards the moon at 60,000 kilometers per hour. That is the kind of speed at which the lander has been moving so far. But in the last 15 minutes, ISRO will be giving commands to the lander. And that's why the communication channels need to be completely open. Now, all the 4 engines of the lander will be used, and that becomes a very, very crucial aspect, because those are the engines that will in fact be controlling that velocity. They will be the thrusters. The 4 engines will also allow later for the speed to be reduced to 2 meters per second. All those 4 engines of the landers will be used for that to be achieved, and the lander will be made vertical in the final braking phase. From the horizontal position, it goes to a vertical position, and that also becomes really crucial. And then the velocity really needs to be brought to 0 before that soft landing is achieved. We will, of course, be continuing this and throwing further light on what exactly are we looking at and the lander surface that I was just talking to Yogesh about. But before we go ahead and do that, I'm quickly slipping into a very, very short break. Our continuous coverage on Chandrayaan 3 continues on CNN News 18. Stay tuned.
Gears up to attempt its first ever moon landing. We'll give you all the updates from the ISRO headquarters in Bengaluru.
From the voices that matter to the latest discoveries of Chandrayaan 3 from the lunar surface.
Watch CNN News 18 as we bring you all the updates and details of the India's historic moon mission.
So keep watching CNN News 18 as we bring you the mood of India, ISRO and all the details related to Chandrayaan 3.
Speed of about 1.68 kilometers per second.